doors to let in the light. Ring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Here we go.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart. Oh,
Better? Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Okay, welcome to the Center of Spiritual Living Parker. I am Felina Harrington. I'm one of the practitioners here. At the Center for Spiritual Living Parker, we honor all paths to the divine, all paths to God, which makes many of us feel like we're really finally found a home when they come here. I know I did. We hope it feels that way for you too. So at CSL here, we provide spiritual tools for personal and community transformation. We fulfill our mission every Sunday with this gathering by offering coursework, classes, some wonderful classes, and by being of service to the town of Parker and to the greater world. Before we get started today, I'd like to have Dr. Vern and then Dr. Shirley give us some announcements. So Dr. Vern? How did she get promoted?
Gave her a doctorate.
Oh.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I can tell silliness is in the air this morning. Anyway, congratulations, Shirley, on your doctorate. That was fast. I have a couple announcements, and then I'll turn it over to the good doctor. One is, if you haven't already heard, Reverend Stephanie has resigned effective immediately, and the board has accepted her resignation. Following that, we had a practitioner meeting here at CSO Parker, and in that meeting, the practitioners decided that they'd like to redo the service order slightly, and they're an amazing group of people because they really decided that it's time for us as a community to step up. And so I'd like to acknowledge our practitioners at CSO Parker. Would you please stand, practitioners? Come on, don't be shy. Look at this amazing group of people. And what an honor it is to work with them. So our order of service is different. If you're here for the first time, you don't care. You just follow along, follow the dots. Anyway, is that all I have to say? Oh, whoever's taking over the spiritual side right now is Felina Harrington and Dr. Shirley, and they have a title. What is the title again? They are our spiritual counsel, and they will help create and our guest speakers and other items like that, anything ecclesiastical that comes down the road. We're working with the National CSL organization to assist us in creating our next steps, and we will continue with guest speakers until we have our new minister in place. And that's all I have to say. Now I bring up Shirley. Thank you. You don't have to applaud.
Thank you so much for that promotion. It really is the book under the pillow every night for me to get into that doctor position. But, thank you again. I really, really worked hard for it. Okay? All right. So anyway, I just have a few announcements. It's going to be very brief, okay? And my first announcement, I see a few people here in the audience, and I just wanted to invite you. We have meditation every Sunday from 9:30 to 9:50. And it is actually being hosted by our wonderful practitioners. And I just wanted to remind you guys how important that spiritual practice of meditation. That is what I did to be a doctor. I really meditated a lot. And I'm telling you, when I meditate, I begin my day with meditation. My day just flows beautifully. Really beautifully. In the beginning, it was hard to meditate. You know what? But you know what? I'm getting to be a pro right now. And all I do is meditate. And people do the work for me. I don't have to do anything. See, the power in meditation is incredible. So I really invite you to practice. Learn meditation for our wonderful practitioners. You're going to get a flavor of different types of meditation. And it's going to bring you to this wonderful place of peace, love, and joy. All right? Now, the second important announcement that I have is prayer. Prayer is another spiritual practice that we all need to develop, okay? That is another one of my secrets. When you pray, you commune with the divine. And when you pray, life shifts for you. Magic happens. Like I say, you don't have to do anything. Just keep praying and meditating, and just the road becomes free for you. Everything flows. So please, if you don't have to remember in my announcement in here, meditation and prayer. Okay, the next announcement is we are looking for a volunteer to do the videographer. So it's very important. Of course, we want to record our Sunday messages for people that are not here to listen to the message for this Sunday. So this is our way to make sure that the message goes beyond this venue. Okay? And of course, I wanted to remind everyone for the month of November, our monthly theme is about everyday spiritual abundance. And next week, we're going to have a wonderful speaker as well. And it's going to be our very own Reverend Marilyn. Yay! Reverend Marilyn is going to come join us next week. And of course, the last very important, very, very important, another important announcement is, of course, dear to my heart. Wanted to remind everyone of our Holistic Expo, guys, okay? I need your support in here. I know some of you are new here, but this is going to be our second annual Holistic Expo and Creative Market, okay? And we are going to have all kinds of healers in that show. We got from different modalities. We're going to have art. We're going to have crafts. Everything that will really take care of the mind, the body, and the soul. Okay, so it is holistic, complete. So it's going to be an awesome show. The holistic group is working really hard to make sure that by the end of December this year, we would have already 100 vendors. Right, Amy? Right now, we are at 50. And yesterday, the holistic crew gathered about 44 business cards. So hopefully we can get 10 out of those, and we get into a 60 mode and eventually 100. So join us, okay? We're going to keep announcing this, okay? Because this is going to be a stand-up success, guys. we're going to bring CSL Parker. Yay! Yay, yay. All right, that's all my announcement. Thank you. You know what? Go tag along. Call Pam. They can pray for you. We got spiritual practitioners in here that could really pray for you, and you can identify them with these beautiful white stoles. They love to pray. All right? They're going to pray for you. Thank you. Thank you, Anne.
Okay. All right. So I think I see some new faces here today. If you don't mind just raising your hand if you're new for the first time. Thank you. And did you get a pamphlet? Okay, so that's our way of communicating to you if you return that information back to us. We send out a weekly newsletter, and at least you'll know what's going on. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so let us take a moment. We used to do this. Let us take a moment and stand and greet the people around us. Okay, now if you can sit back and enjoy today's special service music, beginning with our talented musical team led by Alicia Archibald.
Y'all give it up for Tony. He's leading the music today. Doing a phenomenal job.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands. How do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying. I watch them grow. Learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
great. That was beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to do an invocation, and I'm going to start with doing a meditation and go right into the invocation. So it's a little bit different than you're used to, but I hope it'll blend together. So get comfortable. So we're going to start with the meditation. Take a couple of deep breaths in and out. And let your body relax. I want your mind to go to your heart. That big muscle in your chest. Open that heart. Fill that heart with love. Fill that heart with gratitude. Fill the heart with understanding. I know there is one divine source. And this divine source is all. All. Creativity. Love. Forgiveness. For I am, and you are, a part of this divine nature. Its divinity is our divinity. I realize today is a special day. A special day of healing and embracing and facing what may appear as obstacles. But with Source, there are no obstacles. Because Source always has in the forefront is goodness and blessing and love. And we are that. I am that. You are that. I know that this message today will be exactly what many of you, if not all, need and want to hear. And I can realize this message and embrace this message and learn from this message and take in this message. Because you see, I am in charge of transforming myself. I am in charge. And I can forgive and move on. And know that source, this is all in source's hands. Please join me in saying, and so it is. The reading today is from the Science of Mind magazine. It's the Saturday, October 1st, and it's entitled, There Is No Other. There is no other. While we can start anywhere with this teaching, there's no better place than oneness. The creative intelligence of the universe, or God, is fully present at every point within itself. So one of those points of full expression is the individual self. And another of those points is the self of whoever we happen to be interacting with. It's you and it's I interacting. As we realize this, challenges in connection and communication harmonize and resolve. They just become lighter. We discover there is no ultimate oppositional other. There is none. Our silent inner knowing of a shared legacy as expressions of the one melts away fear, opening in the place where it stood a broad passage into mutual understanding and respect, possibly even collaboration toward shared goals and lasting friendships. Further, we meet ourselves in that one. I meet you, and I meet myself. We are all mirrors. As more of our motives and intentions surface into recognizable consciousness, because I can see more when I see my reflection in you and you and I. You see where we may have hidden our power. And so it is. It is my privilege to introduce our guest speaker today, Russ Dennis. And I'm going to read his bio here. But the talk today that he's talking is swimming in the infinite ocean. That's fun. Okay, Russell is a licensed religious science practitioner of the New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living in Aurora. He speaks and writes on topics that include spirituality, personal development, leadership, business strategy, accessing capital for business growth, creating systems for effective management of your organization, and funding for nonprofits. Russell is an 11-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force. We have something in common. Who currently works as a commercial finance consultant at Aspen Commercial Lending in Lone Tree, Colorado. During his career, he has worked as an IRS auditor, a community and economic development professional, and an advertising sales professional. He is a graduate of the Huson University in Bangor, Maine, where he obtained degrees in business administration and accounting. He holds an MBA from Jones International University. Russell is a certified wayfinder for the Center Vision Leadership Foundation in Lynchburg, Virginia. When I read this background of his, I'm like, wow, I've never heard of some of these things. This is so cool. A Toastmaster, competent communicator, that one I had heard, and a graduate of the NSA, which is the National Speakers Association, Colorado Speakers Academy. He was selected as the Small Business Administrator Minority Business Advocate of the Year in 2003. That was a real accomplishment. For the state of Maine, while serving as the Director of Economic Development for the Roostuk Band of Picmucks. Now, I didn't know what that was either, and I can tell by your laughter that you have no clue. But I asked Russ, and he said, well, it is a very small Native American tribe that is residents in the northeast Maine area, and they migrated years and years ago down from Canada into the United States. I said, that is something, because I had never heard of that tribe, and that is so cool. So please welcome Russ.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for this. I'm honored and humbled at the same time that you would ask me to come do this and to come share with you this community, because I feel a connection to this community. Reverend Stephanie was there with us for the second year of our practitioner studies. Some of you came and walked us through our panels, and there's a special place in my heart. You know, we are so intertwined. And New Dawn and Parker CSL are just an example of the wider community that is CSL. And so when I got the call early this week to ask if I could come and share with you and talk with you, I said yes. Yes. Because the one thing that I've taken from this philosophy is that we are dealing with a spirit that always says yes. Always. What's mine to do? What do I get to say yes to? These are questions that I have to put before myself and understand this power. We're dealing with principle. But I want to start out by saying that we are in this human form, having a very human experience as spirits of the unlimited. And it would be very easy to try to do what we call a spiritual bypass. Things take place. When I became a part of this community early in, I found myself at workshops early on Saturday afternoons in the homes of people who were members of New Dawn. I just got invited. And I had no idea. I thought, oh, these are nice people. We had a 12-step meeting in one of the facilities, and I thought, oh, okay, this is nice. So I'm sitting here, in these workshops on Saturday afternoons, anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks long. And I found out years later that the people that I'm sitting in these workshops were the practitioners in various centers. So I was in the deep end of the pool before I knew what hit me. Spirit has this way of just kind of throwing us in the deep end of the pool. And it's just like, oh my word, what have I stepped into? But we're made in the image of that source. And no matter how tough it looks, you're up to it. You are up to all of these things. Otherwise, they would never be presented to you. Swimming in an infinite ocean. The ocean is massive, but like snowflakes, every drop contains the fullness of the entire ocean in it. So what is this power we're talking about? We've got principles. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, he had 4 principles. And when we're talking about swimming in an infinite ocean, the thing that I have to remind myself, and by sticking close to folks like yourself, I'm always reminded that I am swimming in an infinite ocean. The only limits that I run up to are the ones I impose upon myself. There are no limits. That's a lot easier to work on intellectually. But there's that 1,000-year journey from here to here. That's the longest foot any of us have got to travel. It's a long way. It asks a lot of us. Dr. Holmes says, since God is pure intelligence and endless being, God is always creating. It's God's nature to create, but being all, God must act within itself. So God created a being who had real life within itself. This could only be done by imparting its own nature to this being whom God called humans. All that God or source is, each and every one of us is. Unique, individualized expressions of the ultimate power that is there. The nature is to evolve. The nature is to grow. Now, as part of this human experience, we deal with things like grief and adversity, discomfort. Let me tell you, discomfort is your friend. It is your friend because what it is bringing forth is this need to express, to evolve, to expand, to create. That is the nature of spirit. It's ever expanding. There's always more. And so when we're walking through the universe, even walking through the neighborhood, just looking at the trees, the animals, breathing in the air, and going for walks at night. I love going for walks at night. I've started a habit of taking nighttime photos because the moon, the stars, just the neighborhood, it looks so completely different at night. The very same steps that I take, they look completely different. It's the same space with infinite views. There's so much to see. So abundance comes in 5 flavors. You know, we think about abundance a lot of times. The original topic, what came out of home office, was finances, you know. And that's a whole nother relationship that I've had a lot of ups and downs with. You know, possibilities. What does this mean? What do I deserve? Abundance is 5 things. Perfect health. Each and every one of us is traveling in the perfect vessel to house the spirit that we are manifesting out in the world as unique expressions of the divine. Perfect health. The second thing is remarkable relationships. We are one. That's what we're taught in this philosophy, is that we are one. A lot of times we get stuck, as you did hear that I was an IRS agent, and we had a term that was called form over substance. We get caught up, and people would get caught up in how something looks and how you dress it up. And, people were doing all kind of creative things to skirt tax law. I mean, you want to see some creativity, learn about some of the things that people do with their income taxes. It is interesting. It's interesting. In the career that I work now as a commercial finance consultant, I've been dealing with people who are interesting. They do interesting things. People have a relationship with money. They have a relationship with one another. They have a relationship with the world around. And sometimes they narrow that. Shirley was showing me some people, some information that have been published with people that just really limit how they view the world. And we don't have to participate in that. What I have to do is look around that. Let's get away from the form over substance. It's not we're doing it right if we're doing it this way. We're doing it right if we do it that way. I don't have to participate in things that are divisive, because what I've come to understand, what I'm learning from these principles, is that we are connected. We are one. We come from that one source. I didn't know that. There are a lot of us that don't know that. The collective experience of humanity has been with catastrophe and to bring this memory of all things that are just bad and get stuck in stories about how awful things are and seeing ourselves as split. There's two powers, and there is only one power. That power is source, that power is God, that power is the infinite divine. It doesn't matter what you choose to call this power. What's important is that to know that I am one with that power. I have that power's nature. I have access to all that power has to offer, to the degree that I am consciously able to accept that. Principle number 4 from our founder. Please forgive me, this goes in the standby a lot. It says, we believe that heaven is within us, that we experience to the degree that we become conscious of it. Heaven's not way the heck up there. It's in here. It's a breath away. This idea that I'm relying on something out there that's going to make me whole is not the truth. I'm designed perfect, whole, and complete. Everyone in this room, everyone listening to this message is perfect, whole, and complete by divine design. Now, I don't always function that way because I'm in this human form. And the human form, I need to experience whatever comes up, these emotions. And learning to be a good host to whatever comes up is an opportunity I have. I've got unlimited resources. I'm swimming in an ocean, an infinite ocean. All is available to me. Everything's available to me. Third component of abundance is meaningful work. When I get out of bed, I like to get out of bed. I like to go do what I want that I'm doing, Meaningful work, is it just getting a paycheck? I would hope that your work means more than that, because if it doesn't, it's time to do something else. Meaningful work is that thing that I put my whole essence into. No matter what the job title, whether it's Director of Economic Development for an Indian tribe or an auditor for an IRS, a commercial loan consultant, a religious science practitioner, my all goes into this. I'm on the clock 24/7. As me, as the one unique expression of the divine that Spirit chose to demonstrate through me. And we all have a mission. Every one of us, So I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. The two schools that are not on my bio are MSU and SLU. MSU is make stuff up. SLU is Slow Learners University. Yeah. It just never amazes me how much I learn, but I have to be open at the top. So that meaningful work, along with that, there's creative expression, which is component number 4, creative expression. What's that thing that I bring forth? Do I paint? Am I a speaker? Do I sing? Am I a musician? Perfect expressions of the divine music. That, I can tell you, for these beautiful people here, that's not work. I get to do this. It's that perfect expression. It's just beautiful. I love coming here and hearing you. And it's a labor of love, this creative expression. There are no limits to that for any of us. Only the limits that we put upon ourselves are the limits that we face. The fifth one is freedom to move about in the material world. Prosperity, ergo money, which is energy. It's divine energy. And what comes up for each and every person is what we are open to. This is what comes up. So I have to be open to all things. Aristotle said, what we expect, we find. What energy am I putting into the universe? Do I trust spirit? Do I trust the divine? Not all the time. Not all the time. But that's why I come to communities like this one. I need to surround myself with people of spirit, living in the principles to remind me who I am. I need that vital reminder on a constant basis. I feed that to myself. What we focus on expands. It's been my experience. And it's been a wonderful experience to be a part of this community and communities like it. Principle number 8 from the 12 principles that our founder gave us. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God or source. That we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impressions of our thoughts and acts upon it. What is the future that we want to see? Change is never comfortable. Humans are hardwired to resist it. I'm no different than any other. And I've experienced all sorts of changes. But what I have learned in this philosophy is that spirit is always on time. I might not see the gift in what's taking place at this moment because it's difficult. It's uncomfortable. This twisting, it's just, I have to become something. But the thing is that there's infinite source that I'm connected to. It's like any appliance. When we plug in the source, it's like plugging in our amplifier or our speakers. You pull the plug out, what happens? No juice, no sound, no anything. And we can fret over that and panic, but we don't have to. We just walk over, plug it in. All the juice we need is right there. Our lives and our affairs are the same way as we're swimming in this infinite ocean. Access to unlimited power. Step in, plug in, whether that's a prayer or a phone call. You know. Mindfulness practice is very important, as it's been said here. Mindfulness. Prayer is the primary tool for a practitioner. Our role is to provide spiritual mind treatment. Whew, that's a pretty short, that's the shortest job description I've got. You know. So what is this prayer? My friend Donna Hetzler is an author who I work with, her nonprofit a few years ago. She sent me a copy of her book, Free to Receive, you know. And I had been struggling with that over the last few years, receiving in the form of material stuff, you know. And getting that book, she actually had a quote in there where I talked about being open with cheerful expectancy and spirit bringing stuff in. What a reminder. What a reminder. We did this work years ago. This is spirit coming back to remind me. Oh, yeah. We're living in principle. We're living in a way of life, you know. I have a wonderful book on my shelf. It's called Spiritual Literacy, and it has a lot of different things in it. And I just wanted to read a little bit about what it said about meaning. Human beings construct meaning the way spiders construct webs. This is how we survive. It is our primary evolutionary business. We try to discover the purpose of our lives and to make sense of our experiences. Out of that same book, Brother David Stendhal Rast says, spirituality lets meaning flow into daily life. Find that meaning and share it with others. It's not going to do us a lot of good to keep it to ourselves, because when we bounce it off of other people, we start to see it. It comes back to us when we lose track of it. Staying on track. The Mi'kmaq tribal nation that I worked for had maybe 1,000 members. The continent was crawling with Native Americans. There might be 2.5 million from all of the different indigenous groups left. 2.5 million. They were the full populace of the whole continent. But there was a connection I had there. There's a connection that I have here. And the size of the community may be a factor in the minds of some people. It's real easy to trip into that. There's not many of us. Let me tell you, there's a lot of power in the individual spirit. And it doesn't take a huge group of people to move things, because a community is more than the sum of its parts. And when we're at principle from an unlimited source, we can move things. There's changes we can make, not just in our individual lives, but as a community. What's our purpose? What is ours to do? Oh, this might not be comfortable. Do we trust spirit? Oh, yeah. I have seen examples of how this works. In the home that we had, in finding another minister, adversity and challenges are your friend. And when we step into that with the fullness of mind and the full trust that spirit has got us, and that nothing, absolutely nothing is taken away without a better, bigger, better replacement. Spirit is never late. Spirit's timing for everything is impeccable. And it doesn't feel that way in some of those moments. But if we can allow ourselves to have that human experience, to experience grief, to experience the discomfort, to go through that trust, to keep taking that next step, even when we have no idea what path we're on, with one foot in front of the other. Or going back to the Karate Kid, one of my favorite movies, carry water, chop wood. Carry water, chop wood. Spirit reveals itself when we are open at the top and we're not trying to shield ourselves from what looks like it might be unpleasant. It's in trying to shield ourselves that we cut the divine flow off. The divine flow is here. We are swimming in an infinite ocean. Thich Nhat Hanh said, in each of us is a seed of understanding. That seed is God. That seed is source. That seed is Yahweh. That seed is Allah. That seed is whatever you choose to cook. Form is not important, because there's the substance in those 12 principles. Do no harm, love one another, love and serve one another. There's always more than enough. So in swimming with the infinite ocean, there's just one thought that I'd encourage you to take with you through the week as you're in your travels. You know, remember that you're perfect, whole, and complete as you are. The spirit of source is the source and supply of all my good. And the spirit of source within knows only lavish abundance. Lavish abundance. Join me in prayer. We know that there is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life belongs to each and every one of us in this place right now. God is perfect, whole, and complete in all that God is. Everyone who's listening to this message, wherever they are in the world, the folks in this sanctuary, we are all divine, unique expressions of that one life. I give thanks for the infinite ocean of abundance in the form of nature, in the planets, in the stars, in the universe, in the air that all of us breathe. I give thanks for the perfect vessels that we all travel in, and for the essence, for the spirit of this community, in the knowledge that it is a unique expression of the divine. And I know that walking forward from this point, we are dealing with spirit that only says yes. And the growth and the power and the majesty of this community is beginning, only beginning to express in its next form. I release my word into divine law, knowing that this is already done in the universal mind. I let this go, I let it be, and together we affirm it by saying, and so it is.
And breeze and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God is. Moves and breeze and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Hello? Okay, so it's now time for our offering. Know that everything that is willingly given, whether it's time, whether it's talent, whether it's offerings, comes back to you many times, over and over. All that you give deepens your connection with the divine. And that divine source of infinite prosperity. So, put your hand over your heart and please repeat after me. I give this gift for you. I give this gift for me, knowing that as I give, so shall I receive. And so it is.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings.
Okay, Barbara. Thank you so much. So we just bless this money in its circulation, that it do what it is intended to do, and that is to serve its people. Thank you. Okay, so I want to thank again our wonderful speaker. Let's give him a round of applause. It's always great to talk about prosperity. That's a real fun one to even conjure up. Okay, so I want to thank all the practitioners and all the people that helped put the service together and brought food. And so please join us after this, after our last song, and please join us for some food. Colleen brought some wonderful food today. And thank you for our wonderful, wonderful band. I so appreciate you. And I know the congregation does too. So let's just close this with a short benediction, please. Oh, I'm so grateful, so grateful that I have this opportunity, the opportunity to take a moment, remember who I really am, think about all the wonderful things that I can become. I gained the courage from coming here to move out in my next week and to fulfill those desires and those callings. And so I just want to say thank you, Source. Thank you so much. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
Joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me, I see love in every breath I breathe, I see God in everything, I see happiness, I see freedom, I see the beauty that lives in me, I see perfection in what life brings, I see God in everything, I know.
Have a blessed week.